सारा मैम।
Sarah ma'am.
सायरा, बस ठीक है सायरा, टू ऑल ऑफ यू। एंड स्टोरी टेलिंग चल रही थी हम लोगों की, सो लेट्स कंटिन्यू दैट। आई एम होपिंग टू फिनिश अप एज सून एज पॉसिबल ऑन दैट। प्रेजेंटेशन के टॉपिक आप लोगों को मिल चुके हैं, सो आई होप यू आर वर्किंग ऑन इट ऑलरेडी। सो स्टोरी टेलिंग, just I'll need a minute. Yes, so any volunteers?
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, sure. Akshita.
Ma'am, this is a story of Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan, born on 21st March in 1916 in Bihar, and he died on 21st August 2006 in Varanasi. He is a great Indian musician who plays Senai. Khan was born into the family of court musician in Bihar. He was appreciated to his uncle Bilas, who played the Shehnai in Vishwanath, a Hindu temple in Varanasi. He accompanies his uncle in playing at ceremonies for Hindu as well as the weddings of Khan. He learned numerical musics and rags, and he improved a pattern has been considered impossible for Shehnai. His concert performs at All Indian Music Conference in Kolkata. In 1937, he gained him public respect, and Shehnai, traditional used only in ceremonies, capital came to be seen the classical music. The year of concert and radio perform and recording followed. Khan developed Muslims but performed at both Hindu and Muslim ceremony. He was selected to perform for the ceremony at Delhi Historical Red Fort at the flag unfurled at the honor of Indian independence on 15 August 1947. His music was played on television everywhere. Independence Day, he turned down invite to perform in other countries before 1966 when the Indian government instead when the Indian government see that the, he w- when the Indian government see that he invited in the great festival of Western, and he continued to appear in Europe and North America. Therefore, he awarded Bharat Ratna, Indian highest civil honor, and the country obeys a national day of mourning following his death in 2006 at the age of 90 years.
Okay, good. ठीक है. Priyanshi.
Sairam ma'am, my name is Priyanshi Srivastav and I am here presenting a story about the United States once planned on nuking the moon. The United States once planned on shooting a nuclear bomb at the moon. If you presume that the reasoning behind such an act was because we can, you are absolutely correct. That is exactly why the US wanted to do it. In order to one up the Soviet Union, who were perceived as leading the space race at the time. The project was labeled as a study of lunar research flights or Project A119 and was developed by the US Air Force in the late 1950s. It was felt that this would be a relatively easy thing to do and would also boost public perception and of how US was doing the comparison of to the Soviet Union terms of the space race. According to one of the leaders of the project, physicist Lona Riffel, hitting the moon with an intercontinental ballistic missile would have been relatively easy to accomplish, including hitting the target with an accuracy of about 2 miles. This accuracy would have been particularly important as the Air Force wanted resulting explosion to be clearly visible from the Earth. As such, it was proposed that the explosion happen on the border of the visible part of the moon, so that the resulting cloud would be clearly visible, being illuminated by the sun. The project was eventually scrapped as it was felt that the public would not respond favorably to the US dropping a nuclear bomb on the moon. Thank you and Saira.
Good one. I liked it. Interesting. Yes, Rama.
I am gonna tell the story of a legendary queen, Rani Durgavati. She was born on 5th October 1524 in Chandel family. She was a very brave and bold princess and was married to Dalpat Shah, the king of Gondwana kingdom, which is presently in Madhya Pradesh around Jabalpur. She had a son named Veer Narayan. Unfortunately, Dalpat Shah died in 1550, so Durgavati started ruling the kingdom. She was a very effective administrator and ruled Gondwana nicely. And under his rule, Gondwana kingdom became very prosperous state. Baz Bahadur, the son of Sujat Khan, who had captured Malwa, attacked Gondwana, but it was repulsed by the bravery of Rani Durgavati. At the time of Akbar's rule, a Mughal general, Khwaja Abdul Asaf Khan, was jealous of Rani Durgavati's prosperity and took Akbar's permission to attack Durgavati. When Rani Durgavati came to know this, she went to a place called Narrai, which was between mountains and rivers. Rani Durgavati fought a very destructive battle. While this battle was unequal, as there were many trained soldiers and machineries in Akbar's side, while they were not present in Rani's side. In the battle, Rani got injured badly and she lost consciousness. When she regained consciousness, she saw that the defeat was near. It was advised to her to leave the battlefield, but she totally refused and took her dagger and killed herself on 24th June 1564. This day is even today celebrated as the Balidan Divas. And the government of Madhya Pradesh renamed the University of Jabalpur as Durgavati University, and a train called Durgavati Express also runs.
Okay, good. Next, Aditi Jain.
Om Shri Sairam. My story about Columbus tricked native Jamaica into giving him supplies by using his knowledge of an upcoming lunar eclipse. On the Christopher Columbus' fourth and final voyage to the Americas, which began in Cadiz in 1502, Columbus landed near the north coast of Jamaica on June 30, 1503, with only two of his original four caravel ships still afloat, but barely seaworthy due to a shipworm infestation. At first, the natives welcomed Columbus and his crew, providing them with food and other supplies in exchange for various trinkets, generally welcoming the sailor into their community with open arms. This arrangement didn't last very long. Over the next several months, the natives become discontented with the guests of their islands. Columbus' crew repaid the generosity of natives by frequently stealing and cheating them, as well as raiding villages for supplies, among many other indiscretions committed by the screw. like murder, rape, etc. As a result of this, by January of 1504, the indigenous peoples decide to stop supplying the standard Europeans regardless of what they might offer in trade. Without a significant source of food or means to live, Columbus' expedition was in serious trouble. Luckily for his crew, Columbus had certain astronomical tables with him, including the Ephemeris compiled by the German astronomer Johannes Muller, one better known today by his Latin name region Montanus. In this region, Montanus predicted there would be a total lunar eclipse in the evening of February 29, 1504. He also gave an estima- uh, estimation of what time it would occur. Today, through this start time was based on Number Germany time, so Columbus had to do a bit estimating. Reason Montanus even included fairly accurate information as to how long the eclipse would last. Thank you and Siam.
Okay, yes, it was a good story. Yes, Monica.
Leonardo da Vinci was born on 15 April 1452 and he died on 2 May 1590. He was an Italian man who lived in the time of Renaissance. He was famous for his paintings, but he was also a scientist, mathematician, engineer, inventor, anatomist, sculptor, architect, botanist, musician, and a writer. Leonardo wanted to know everything about nature. He wanted to know how everything works. He was a very good at studies, designing, and making all sorts of the interesting things. Actually, his name was Leonardo. He was called Leonardo da Vinci because he was from a place which was known as Vinci. His father was Piero da Vinci and his mother was Caterina. The art historian Helen Garden said that no one has ever been quite like him because he was interested in many things. He was trained to be an artist by the sculptor and the painter, Verconian. He lived in the beautiful home given by the King of the France. Da Vinci was an intelligent child. He did not receive any formal education. Da Vinci was an ambidextrous. He was known to have been able to write with one hand and draw with another hand at the same time. He developed the system of writing backwards to note down his important findings and to hide secret messages discoverable only through a mirror. In 1994, Bill Gates bought a book Codex Hammer which was written by the Leonardo da Vinci at the cost of 13 million US dollar. It is also written in mirror writing. Notable work by Leonardo da Vinci was Virgin of the Rocks, Lady with an Ermine, The Vitruvian Man, The Last Supper, Salvator Mundi, and the well-known Mona Lisa painting. It is the best and the expensive painting in the world, but it is not allowed buy to or sell because it is for public.
Good. I like the story. Good work. Yes. Any other volunteers or do I have to pick people? Okay, Ratika.
I'm going to present the story of the Trojan War that happened during 1250 BC. The actual existence of the Trojan War has always been ambiguous and debatable. While some scholars take it as a myth, others have found solid proof that it happened. In Greek mythology, the Trojan War is the battle between the people of Troy and the Greeks. The conflict began after Paris, the Trojan prince, took away Helen, the wife of Menelaus of Sparta. When Menelaus asked for her return, the Trojans refused to give her back. Menelaus then cajoled his brother Agamemnon into leading an army against Troy. He had the Greek heroes Ajax, Achilles, Odysseus, and nested with him, followed by a fleet of more than 1,000 ships from all over the Hellenic world. For the next 9 years, the Greek attacked Troy, its neighboring cities, and countryside. But the well fortified town, guarded by Prince Hector and other sons of the Trojan family, held out and won the war. Not accepting defeat, the Greeks built a giant wooden horse to hide a small groups of warriors inside, despite repeated warnings by both Laocoon and Cassandra not to take the horse into the city. The Trojan king let it in. At night, the Greek returned, and their hidden countrymen piled out of the horse. They opened the city gates and attacked each and every person who stood in their way. Troy was finally destroyed.
Okay. Since this is the story I have told in many classes, and this is a story quite close to my heart, I would like to add a few points in the already existing story. What happened, according to the Greek mythology, or from where we have borrowed this story, I think it is in Odysseus. And what happened was that in the Trojan family, a boy was born, and it was prophesied that this boy will be the end of Troy. And all these people, the superstitious people, they convinced the king and queen that this boy will be the loss of Troy, and they prophesied that he will destroy Troy. So they convinced his parents to let him go. So they let him go, and they left him somewhere in a mountain. And in the mountain, he was found by a shepherd. And that shepherd raised, he was named Paris. That shepherd raised that boy like his own. And one day, in the Mount Olympus, where all the gods used to reside, they had a fight. Three ladies, three goddesses, they had a fight. They were Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom, and Hera, the goddess of marriage and everything. And they all were fighting that who is the most beautiful. And Zeus, being the common factor, he could not decide. So he created an apple, and that apple was given to Paris. One day Paris was out with his goats, he was shepherding, and suddenly all these four gods appeared in front of him, and they asked him to decide that who's the prettiest of them all. Now the goddesses, they wanted to bribe, they wanted to win, it was a matter of their pride, so all three of them offered him something. Athena offered him Athens, or all the kind of wisdom in the world. Hera offered him Asian region, complete Asian region to rule, and Aphrodite offered him the most beautiful woman in the world. And being Paris, he decided that he wanted the most beautiful woman in the world, and he gave that apple to Aphrodite. Now that enraged Hera and Athena, both of them, and they all conspired to take revenge. So how they took revenge? One, and after some time, Paris was rediscovered by his parents, and his parents realized that it was wrong of them to leave their child. They take him back. They make him the Trojan prince again. Hector was his brother and the crown prince. And then after some time, the princes were sent to Greece for a diplomatic mission. And in Greece, the king was a Menelaus. I don't Agamemnon. Agamemnon was the king. Menelaus was his brother, and the wife of Menelaus was Helen. Helen was the most beautiful woman in the world. Now, when Aphrodite said she is going to give him the most beautiful women in the world, there was no terms and conditions that she will be married or not. Now it is debatable that if Aphrodite enchanted that woman, or that woman wanted to go with Paris on her own, but ultimately Paris left Athens with Helen, and her husband didn't know. They secretly left, and now her husband, Menelaus, taking it on his pride, he wanted his wife back, so he asked his brother to gather forces, and they should all go and get his wife back. So they all went in 1,000 ships, and thus Helen became known as the face that launched the 1,000 ships, the beautiful woman who made Greece fight against Troy. And in those forces, there were many heroes. They were blessed by gods. One of them was Achilles, and the term Achilles heel. Achilles heel means the sole weakness of person, because Achilles was considered to be invincible because his mother dipped him in a holy river, which made him invincible. He could not be killed by anything. But when she was dipping him, she held him by his ankle and dipped him like this. So the ankle was the only point. Sorry, the heel. The heel was the only point on which he was vulnerable, and that was the point that he got shot by an arrow and died. And then they stayed there on the beach. Troy was very highly fortified, and Achilles and Hector started fighting. Hector accidentally killed Achilles' nephew or some very close person because he thought he was fighting Achilles. Then Achilles got angry. He fought Hector, killed the crown prince. It kept on happening. 10 years they were there. They were fighting. It was going nowhere. So one day they decided to trick everyone. How did they trick? They made a wooden horse as an offering to the god Poseidon, the god of sea. They made an offering, and when they made an offering, because it was a superstitious era, they could not destroy that horse. Okay, this is an offering to God. If we destroy it, we will be cursed with bad luck. So because of that, they took that wooden horse back into the city. And since they had won a very long, prolonged war, they were very happy. They were celebrating, drinking, rejoicing. And at the dead of the night, the soldiers came out of that horse, and the virus that everybody knows, the Trojan virus, the idea comes from there. Something that slowly worms into your system, and you do not know when that happened. They came out, they killed everyone. Helen disappeared in the middle of all. No, no sources corroborate to where Helen went. But ultimately, Paris became the end of Troy, and that was the more historical outlook on the Trojan War. I also read it somewhere. It may or may not be correct, but since it is mythology, we can never be wrong or right. Okay, so yes, I got carried away. Next person, anyone? Excuse me. Yes, Bhupendra, your turn. Bhupendra, can you hear me? Bhupendra Ojha, I am talking to you. It's your turn for the story time. Say something. If you're not going to say something, I will just mark you absent and give you 0. End of the discussion. Fine, I'm giving you 0. Next, Ayush. Ayush, are you there? Are you listening to me? Your mic is not working. Then in the next class, you will come back with a working mic because I need to ask your story. Otherwise, I can't give you any marks. It doesn't matter if your mic is working or not. Hemant. Hemant, your mic is unmute, but I can't hear you. So write whatever you are saying in the chat box. Your mic is also not working. सबके mic क्यों नहीं work कर रहे हैं? Everybody's mic is not working. Unmute करो या side में एक option रहता है उसे unmute करना पड़ता है. This is an assignment. Assignment has to be submitted. और सबके माइक एक साथ खराब कैसे हो रहे हैं? इतना अच्छा लग कैसे है तुम्हारा? एक बार रीजॉइन करो मीटिंग. जित्तो के माइक खराब है, मीटिंग रीजॉइन करो. Yes, Swarnim.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, story
Yes.
I'm going to present is about Tipu Sultan. Ma'am, Tipu Sultan
Okay.
was born on November 10, 1715 in Devanhali. He was the Sultan of Mysore. He was succeeded by his father in 1782. Ma'am, in the 18th
एक मिनट
century,
एक मिनट एक मिनट एक मिनट एक मिनट पहले तो टीपू सुल्तान was not a sultan and he cannot be succeeded by his father. सक्सेशन समझकर सक्सेशन वो होता है कि जब कोई मर जाता है तो उसके मरने के बाद उसके फादर ने उसे सक्सीड किया. डज दैट मेक एनी सेंस? Fact check your story. I'm giving you 5 minutes. I don't want nonsense.
okay, ma'am.
Yashika, beta, your turn.
Yes, ma'am. आज मैं आपको एक ऐतिहासिक लड़ाई के बारे में बताने जा रही हूँ जो कि 21 सिखों ने लड़ी थी. 12 सितंबर 1897 को सहारागढ़ी नामक स्थान पर यह युद्ध लड़ा गया था. आजकल यह स्थान पाकिस्तान में है. उस दिन का घटनाक्रम कुछ इस प्रकार. 10,000 अफगानियों ने तत्कालीन भारत आर्मी पोस्ट सहारागढ़ी पर आक्रमण कर दिया. सहारागढ़ी किले में आर्मी पोस्ट पर ब्रिटिश इंडियन आर्मी की 36 सिख बटालियन में सिर्फ 21 सिख सेनानी तैनात थे. अफगानों को लगा कि इस छोटी सी पोस्ट को जीतना काफी आसान होगा, पर ऐसा सोचना जीवन की सबसे बड़ी भूल साबित हुई. उन्हें ये मालूम नहीं था कि ये जाबाज सिख किस मिट्टी के बने हुए हैं. उन 21 बहादुर सिखों ने आज जान बचाकर भागने के बजाय अपनी आखिरी सांस तक लड़ने का फैसला किया. जब गोलियां खत्म हो गईं तो तलवारों से मुकाबला हुआ. ऐसा घमासान युद्ध हुआ कि उसकी मिसालें आज भी दी जाती हैं. इतिहास भी मानता है कि ये इतिहास का ऐसा महानतम युद्ध है जब योद्धा आमने सामने की लड़ाई में आखिरी सांस तक युद्ध वीरता से लड़े. मानव इतिहास में ऐसा कोई दूसरा उदाहरण नहीं मिलता जब ऐसा भयंकर मुकाबला हुआ हो, वो भी जब महज सिर्फ 21 योद्धाओं ने इस बड़ी फौज का सामना किया हो. अंत में सभी 21 सिख सेनानी वीरगति को प्राप्त हुए, लेकिन तब तक वो 1,000 से अधिक अफगानियों को मौत के घाट उतार चुके थे. अफगान इस युद्ध को जीत तो गया, लेकिन उनका भारी नुकसान हुआ और उनकी सेना का बल टूट गया. इस युद्ध के 2 दिन बाद ही ब्रिटिश आर्मी ने फिर से आक्रमण करके पुनः सहारागढ़ी पोस्ट को फिर से कब्जे में ले लिया.
Okay, good work यशिका. But next time जब आप present करो so I'm expecting कि थोड़ी इंग्लिश ज्यादा हो, है ना? Because अगर इंग्लिश में हम लोग सुनते हैं तो it stays in that language. But बढ़िया था, good work, बढ़िया.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Next हितेंद्र.
मैम अभी रेडी नहीं है.
बेटा आप रेडी नहीं है तो मैं आपको 0 देने के लिए रेडी हूँ, क्योंकि ये बहुत दिन से चल रहा है. नेक्स्ट मुकुंद तो मुझे दिख नहीं रहे हैं दोनों आज. अक्षरा मीणा.
मैम मैंने पहले ही सुना दी है अलाउद्दीन
तुमने
खिलजी की.
अच्छा अच्छा, एक मिनट, मुझे लग रहा है यहाँ पर एक चीज जो है मिक्स अप हो गई है. आई रिमेम्बर योर स्टोरी. मुझे लग रहा है एक दिन का मेरा डेटा सेव नहीं हुआ है. ठीक है, आई रिमेम्बर द स्टोरी, फाइन. एंड अदिति वर्मा भी आज मुझे प्रेजेंट नहीं दिख रही है। मारा, तुमने स्टोरी सुनाई थी?
यस मैम, सुना दी।
बेटा एक बार मुझे टाइटल बताना अपनी स्टोरी का।
मैम तुनगुस्का।
किसका?
तुनगुस्का वाला वो बॉम्ब।
बेटा एक बार मुझे लिख के बता दो, तुम्हारा तुम जो बोल रही हो ना वो यहाँ पर मिस हो गया है मुझसे। क्योंकि मुझे भी याद आ रहा है, स्टोरी तो तुमने सुनाई है, एक बार मुझे लिख के बता दो टाइटल, मुझे याद आ जाएगा। प्रज्ञा तुमने भी स्टोरी सुना दी थी राइट?
यस मैम।
अब बेटा एक बार टाइटल याद दिलाना मुझे।
मैम बाबर द बिलव्ड। मैम एक मिनट।
बाबर के लिए तो मैंने तुमसे कहा था कि तुम और मटेरियल लेकर आओ, है ना? आई रिमेम्बर दैट। क्योंकि तुमने केवल 3 लाइन की स्टोरी सुनाई थी। तो आर यू रेडी विद दैट? हाँ, तुम उसका इवेंट याद आ गया मुझे। यस प्रज्ञा, तैयार हो आगे के लिए? मैंने तुमसे कहा था कि रीडू करके लाओ। आई नीड एन आंसर, नहीं तो मैं 3 लाइन के 2 नंबर दे दूंगी, बात खत्म। प्रणव, आई थिंक यू ऑल्सो टोल्ड मी अ स्टोरी, डिड यू? प्रणव, बेटा आई कांट हियर यू, तुम मुझे लिख के बता दो। इफ यू टोल्ड मी द स्टोरी तो उसका टाइटल क्या था? शाम। शाम प्रेजेंट भी नहीं है। ओके, आई टेल यू इसमें किस किस के नाम पर स्टोरी नहीं है। अदिति वर्मा, आयुष, भूपेंद्र, हेमंत, दोनों मुकुंद, निलय, प्रज्ञा, प्रणव, श्याम एंड सुमित। निलय, डिड यू टेल मी अ स्टोरी? आई डोंट रिमेम्बर।
नो मैम।
यू हैव नॉट? तो चलो ठीक है, तुम भी सुना दो।
Ma'am, this is a story about Sputnik 1, Russia's first satellite and also the world's first satellite which was ever launched. Ma'am, it all started in 1957 as just a fun project or side project, but it was taken seriously in August and was published by October. The satellite launch took place on 4 October 1957. It was very small in size and also didn't went up far, but it orbited Earth at a very low altitude. It was a small, polished sphere, gray colored with 4 antennas and a battery. It wasn't having any solar panels because at that time there were none solar panels developed. So it ran on the battery and lasted for about 3 weeks before it died. And after 2 months, it fell in pieces on the Earth. This was enough to start a space war between countries such as US and Russia. Although US government was not happy with this launch, but the civilians of US saw this as a very historical thing because none took place recently, and they all celebrated by going out in the fields to see the Sputnik 1. Sputnik also stands for traveling companion. British saw this as a very bad thing because they saw that soon missiles will be launching on each other's country with the help of satellites such as these. It weighed only 10 tons and the launching propulsion system was about 83.6 kgs. This basically was used as a hydrogen fuel which is very low efficient, and nowadays A specialized rocket fuel propulsor fuel is used. Thank you.
Good. Like this story. Yes. बेटा मुझे प्रज्ञा और प्रणव तुम्हारे अभी जवाब चाहिए बिफोर आई क्लोज दिस क्लास. प्रणव बेटा तुम्हारा मुझे ध्यान नहीं है कि तुमने स्टोरी बताई है या नहीं. अगर बताई है तो मुझे टाइटल याद दिलाओ. आई विल रिमेम्बर. प्रज्ञा मैंने तुमसे कहा था कि इसके अंदर और एडिशन करो. अगर तुम तैयार हो तो सुनाओ और अगर तैयार नहीं हो तो फिर मैंने जो तुमने ऑलरेडी सुना दिया था उसके बेसिस पे मैं तुम्हें मार्क्स दे दूंगी.
Yes, ma'am.
क्या यस मैम तैयार है? आगे तो आगे सुनाओ.
Yes, ma'am. Babur belonged to Central Asia. Babur was a descendant of Genghis Khan and Timur. They were Mongols. He was born in Fargana. Later, he became the ruler of a small principality. He had invented India at the invention of Dalot Khan Lodi, the governor of Punjab, who wanted to end the Lodi dynasty with the support of Rana Sanga of Mewar. Both the rulers, Dalot Khan Lodi and Rana Sanga, hoped that after defeating the Lodis, Babur would return back, but contrary to their experience, Babur stayed in India and expanded his kingdom, later called Mughal Empire. When Babur got the invention, he thought that he was a good opportunity to explain his kingdom. He had heard a lot about India, a struggle for political supremacy among several warring powers in India was going on. Babur found the condition in India ideal for an attack. The condition of various states at that time were Delhi, Mewar, Kashmir, Sindh, Punjab.
ओके ठीक है. बेटर देन बिफोर. ओके तो अब मैं तुम्हें बता रही हूँ कि इन लोगों को मार्क्स नहीं मिले हैं. सम ऑफ देम हैव नॉट रिस्पॉन्डेड व्हेन आई सेड. सम ऑफ देम सेड दे वर नॉट रेडी. और अगर अगली क्लास तक जो भी तुम लोगों की अगली क्लास रहेगी मुझे इनकी स्टोरी नहीं मिलती है मैं 0 देके इस असाइनमेंट को क्लोज कर दूंगी. कुछ लोग आज एब्सेंट है तो उन तक खबर पहुंचा दी जाए. अदिति वर्मा, आयुष, भूपेंद्र, गुनिका, हेमंत, हितेंद्र, मुकुंद मीना, मुकुंद शर्मा, प्रणव, राजवर्धन, श्याम, सुमित. इन लोगों को मार्क्स नहीं दिए हैं मैंने. अगर अगली क्लास में तुम लोग स्टोरी ले आते हो तो ठीक है, नहीं तो मैं तुम लोगों को 0 देके बात खत्म कर दूंगी. आई होप आई एम मेकिंग माई सेल्फ क्लियर. एंड क्योंकि अब हम लोगों को और भी बहुत सारी चीजें करनी है, इसी में मैं पूरा साल नहीं बिता सकती. सो फाइन. थैंक यू एंड सायराम.
सायरा मैम.
सायरा मैम.
Sarah ma'am.
Saira ma'am.
Sarah ma'am.